Hey, it's Sam here, and today we're going to do something a little bit different for the channel. It's going to be an eating challenge. So this is the road to 300 pounds, and I'm going to see if after an all-you-can-eat buffet, I can stand on the scales at 300 pounds. Now, it is just a bit of fun. I'll be with my clothes on, and it's not real weight gain. It's just the food that's going to be inside me. But I reckon if I can get to this buffet and put away at least 5 plates, that I can sort of skip ahead and be 300 pounds momentarily. So we're going to try that today. I'm going to talk through some of the foods that I'm eating and wish me luck with this challenge. We'll see how it goes. Now, before we set off, I'm going to take the starting weight. So this is the starting weight with my clothes on and holding the camera, to be fair, but it's all just a bit of fun, this challenge. Let's zoom in there. What have we got? It stays still there. 294. Yep. 294 pounds and a half, I think that is. So let's see if we can make it back with a big 300 after this massive feed up. So I've just landed here now. This is the JRC buffet in Wood Green. As I came in, they've actually got a height measuring chart because it's a different price for children, but they're defining a child as someone under 1.5 meters, so 1 meter 50. Obviously, I'm not going to pass as a child, but I found that quite funny. So 24 pounds, and I can eat as much as possible. Apparently, according to the website, there's a 2-hour limit. Obviously, I'm not going to leave this recording for 2 hours. I'm just going to show you what I select and hopefully manage the challenge. Well, I've got 2 hours to do this, and I'm going to take a look at the buffet now. So plate 1, or I'm going to call it set 1, treat it like the gym. We got a little bit of skewer lamb, skewer chicken, breaded scampi, the sesame toast, sweet potato fries, a little chili beef, and some sweet and sour sauce on top for set 1. Here we go. So that was plate 1 or set 1, done pretty quickly. I'd call it like a warm-up set. Quite a lot of meat there, so I suppose I am still prioritising my protein as I would in any meals, but there's not a great strategy to this. I'm not doing what I normally do at a buffet where I go for the most expensive stuff to get the value out of it, nor am I going for just the heaviest items to meet the challenge. I'm going for something in between, but I think a good strategic choice would be to finish on like half a kilo of ice cream that'll go down easy at the end just to make up the weight and meet this 300 pounds challenge here. But I'm going to re-rack my plate, just like in the gym, and get limbered up for set 2. Set 2, we've got a red Thai curry and a bit of spicy chicken there. Take a look at that. So it won't be long before I've devoured that. And that's set 2 done. So the beef in particular was really good. I have to say the lamb on dish 1 wasn't great, but definitely I would have had more than a usual meal by now of what I'd have split up through the day. So this is not like an advice video, by the way. You know, this is not a do this food challenge as the way to do your bodybuilding. This is just a bit of fun for seeing if I can push my weight up temporarily for a bit of fun. But generally, the advice would be space the meals out and have the fat protein combo like it's the last meal of the day because it's slower digestion, keep you going overnight. Have the carbohydrates closer to the workout and stuff, but this is just a challenge, a bit of fun and a free-for-all, and set 2 is done real easy. I'm going to take my time a little bit more, seeing what they've got next, so that I can begin to strategize about how these 5 plates are going to play out and reach the goal here. So bear with me, I'll be back shortly. Introducing set 3, we've got the sushi this time. I've gone for a little bit of pineapple with the enzymes you get in there for digesting protein a little easier. That could be helpful, and I just randomly saw jelly and thought, why not? So set 3, we mix it up a little bit. It's starting to get a little bit more serious now. I'm starting to overheat, so that can happen when I'm eating a lot. I'll definitely lose the hoodie jacket here. I don't want to spontaneously combust while eating this. Some of it was quite spicy, like that red Thai curry is pretty spicy. I find that distracting, like foods that are too hot, so I tend to avoid. And obviously with the amount that I have to eat to grow, I tend to avoid any like food that can put me off my next meal, which could be like food that upset the system because it's too spicy. Like when I was younger, I would have like the hottest curries, like a thal, just to have it for the challenge really, but I find it too distracting in a meal now. I'm kind of over that, and definitely with the bodybuilding and being bigger, I don't want anything that's going to upset the system, ruin subsequent meals and just set me off my course. So I tend to avoid the spicy food, and that's probably the limit of the spicy stuff I'm going to have with this meal. Anyway, set 3. And that's set 3 done pretty easily. I feel like the pineapple might have been a little bit of a mistake. Just too kind of watery. Maybe need something a little bit heavier for plate 4 before we start thinking about ice cream or something like that. I was just thinking now, a little interesting aside, before they actually came up with the different theories of weight loss and weight gain, like obviously the calorie energy balance paradigm and the carbohydrate insulin hypothesis, all that kind of thing, the first attempts at measuring like how people gain and lost weight were actually done in a similar fashion to this this kind of light-hearted video, where about 150, 160 years ago, I'd have to double check, they actually weighed people like before meals and then weighed the amount of food and weighed them afterwards and thought that the weight of the food was related to the weight of the person. I mean, it is obviously temporarily, as we'll see later, but they actually thought that they could kind of calculate and figure out weight gain based on these principles. So I don't know whether they were thinking that kind of a proportion of the weight of the food just stuck in the body in one way or another as muscle or fat or water or whatever, and a proportion of it would pass through, and those proportions might be different for different food groups. So don't know exactly what they were thinking, but they were thinking something along those lines, and were weighing people and weighing their meals and weighing them afterwards to try and think about weight gain and weight loss. But it wasn't like a big topic decades and certainly centuries ago, because the obesity kind of prevalence, especially in the Western world, that's a very new thing. Even if you go back to as recently as the 70s and 80s, like properly obese people are actually really rare. You can see that in photos and footage of way back then. It's really something in recent decades has become more and more common. So now it's something that's talked about more, researched more, and it just wasn't widespread enough in decades gone by for it to be researched or debated or people looking for a solution, because the problem just wasn't there. So it's a change that's sort of sweeping through the world, and I could go on and on about the processed food industry and that kind of thing. And certainly I don't endorse what I'm doing here. It's just a bit of fun, and my weight gain is mostly muscle, but I still don't like being quite this heavy. It's not ideal. I prefer cutting down. I prefer being a sort of like 17, 18 stone, good at my height, and a lot leaner. So later in the year, or certainly next year, we'll get into that kind of point again. But for now, the bulk and the journey to 300 pounds continues as I get ready for set 4. And introducing set 4, we've got the egg fried rice and the king prawns. So with this dish, thinking a little bit more about getting my money's worth, getting the prawns in there. Should be well ready for dessert, and hopefully made this challenge. Kind of struggling now. I'm about halfway through the king prawns and the egg fried rice. And when people say about like contest prep being really hard and not eating enough and being starving, and that's the hardest part of the whole process, that's totally different to me, because the amount that I have to eat to keep gaining is a lot more uncomfortable than what I have to eat to kind of cut down gradually and get to my contest weight. So the last time I competed, I was 240 pounds, 240 on stage. And for me to get down to that, it's still eating quite a lot of food, so I don't really have to go hungry to cut. Yeah, I'll be tired from extra exercise, but the amount that I'm eating to cut is kind of about right. So I really like that, and get to look, finished off, see the products of all that hard work. And it's really the other end of the process, the gaining. that I find takes me more discipline and is more challenging and uncomfortable. It's just like weary and time consuming, like packing all that food away, and then you're kind of like out of shape compared to contest shape, and really heavy, which is more effort to lug around. And yeah, no, I shouldn't moan about it. It's my choice. I do still love it. It's bodybuilding. I still love it, but definitely harder for me on the gaining phase. And I'll show you right now. This is how we're getting on with set 4 there. It's not sailing through as quickly as those first 2 or 3 plates there. So I will finish it. I will finish this plate. Bear with me. But I'm thinking I'm going to load up on the weight from the ice cream straight after this. So I'm getting full. And set 5, we got that ice cream. There was actually another really good dessert, but a bit of a queue for it, so I'll go back for that and crack on with set 5, the ice cream. And that's just about it. I did go back for my other dessert, so here it is. I'm not going to call that set 6. I'm going to call that part of set 5 with the ice cream. That's just a bit of a queue earlier. So this is my dessert. This is going to be the finish of it. And then let's go back and get weighed and see if I've made it to 300 pounds early. Really hope I have, because I'm very full and I don't want to go through all this discomfort and fail the challenge. So fingers crossed, I'll finish up and let's see what we got. And we're back. The moment of truth. We'll see if I've made the challenge, if I am now 300 pounds. Oh, yes. There, you see that? 300 pounds and 3/4. Boom. So there you have it. This is me at 300 pounds now. And it's not true 300 pounds. I've got my clothes on and I'm very full of food. But it's the first time that I've been 300 pounds ever, in any sense, like ever stepped on the weighing scales at that sort of weight. So it's a milestone for me. The true 300 pounds on this journey will be when I'm 300 pounds first thing in the morning, after I've gone to the loo and without putting my clothes on. That's the real 300 pounds. But reaching the 300 pounds fed up and in my clothes is the first milestone. And I'm pleased with that. I'm just extremely full and I need to lie down and recuperate from this expedition here. But thanks for watching. I'm going to keep it more with the workouts. I think they're a little bit more interesting than just pass and parcel food. But hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. If you want to see me really reach 300 pounds and all of the work that goes into it, consider subscribing. Any comments appreciated, and if you want to contact me directly, it's @PhysiquePhilosopher on Instagram. Thanks for watching.